So, did Candace Owens get a Negro wake-up call? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, as we know, Candace Owens and the Daily Wire agreed to separate. Many of people are saying that she was fired. From what I'm hearing, it was a mutual agreement. And the rift started between her and the Daily Wire when she made statements about the Israel occupation of the Gaza. She criticized Israel. She spoke her view on, she believed that, Israel has the right to defend himself from what happened at the festival in which the Hamas terrorists invaded a festival and killed those Israeli citizens. Now, Israel has a right to defend themselves, but according to her belief, and which I agree with her on, enough is enough. Obviously, you can retaliate, but what Israel was doing was, many people believe, was going overboard. She spoke her view. She stood her ground on it, and as a result of that, there was a rift between her and one of the co-founders of the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro. Well, this beef had been ongoing and to the point where they finally decided to say, you know what, we just need to split. And Candace Owens, since she's been on plenty of other people's shows, I never thought I'd ever see Candace Owens on Fresh and Fit, but there she was. She was on the Joe Budden, the Breakfast Club, and she's been making her rounds ever since. So Candace Owens is going to be fine. I'm not worried about that. And as far as I'm concerned, she was the biggest thing on the Daily Wire. So this is more of their loss than hers. But with that being said, the race hustlers, always active. And one thing I always say about the race hustlers is they will never let anything go to waste in which you can cry race. And they never disappoint because they will cry racism at the drop of a hat. But you have all these race hustlers out here and these brainwashed blacks who listen to them saying that she got her Negro wake-up call. Now, for those who are familiar with the Negro wake-up call, essentially, if you're a black person and you're hanging around white folks, they let you around them, and you believe that you've come up, that they've finally accepted you as equals, but in reality, you're just entertaining them. And as soon as they're no longer amused by you, or you say something that they don't like, you promote something black, and they'll get rid of you. And this is what they say is a Negro wake-up call, and it doesn't necessarily have to be white folks. Again, it doesn't have to be white folks for these race hustlers to cry racism. But anyway, did Candace Owens get a Negro wake-up call? Was this a Negro wake-up call for her? Well, I would say absolutely not. It had nothing to do with race. It had nothing to do with her skin shade. It had nothing to do with what she looked like. It has to do with what she said. And this is mostly a Jewish people standing up and again with this ridiculous notion of, well, if something is anti-Semitic, we need to be against it. I think this whole anti-Semitic thing is a bunch of nonsense, and it gets overblown at some time. I mean, just criticizing a Jewish person doesn't mean that you're against them. Just criticizing Israel doesn't mean that you're against them. And that's all she did, was criticize Israel based upon a retaliation that she thought had gone too far. That's not a Negro wake-up call, because the thing is that would have happened to her regardless of what skin shade she was. Hell, if she was white, black, green, purple, orange, yellow, fuchsia, hell, Jewish. If she was Jewish, she would have had run into the same situation with Ben Shapiro, and it would have been the same beef. The difference is that unlike some other people, she didn't back down. She said what she said. She stood her ground. Now, a lot of these race hustlers are saying that, well, she's self-hating and all this other stuff. Does that sound like a self-hating person? Does a self-hating person stand their ground and is willing to walk away rather than backtrack and back down on what they said? That doesn't sound like someone who's self-hating. So all that nonsense, that which is basically that self-hateful, is just one of those words that you hear these race hustlers throw out there, just rhetorical nonsense that they throw out there. But there's anything at all about Candace, there's absolutely nothing at all about Candace Owens that equals to self-hate. Because if it were, she would still be at the Daily Wire. Okay, she's not a token for anyone. And she's spoken on many people of many different races and spoke her views. And right now, they're saying that, well, now she's back trying to get back with black people. No, she's saying the exact same thing that she's always been saying. You know, you have these blacks with this stupid nonsense where she's not invited to the cookout and all this other foolishness. Candace Owens can buy the cookout if she wanted to. But in closing, I want to call black folks out on the hypocrisy anyway, because like you often hear a lot of black people cry about this whole anti-Semitic narrative, which today I agree, because like I say, it's just way overblown. But to my knowledge, there's no group of people that gets upset more about some other group of person talking about them, or a person that looks like them talking about them, than black folks. Nobody. So black people have no room to be upset with the anti-Semitic narrative, because again, I've never seen no one complain about criticisms of them more than black people. And the majority of that criticism is thrown at other blacks who are telling them the truth, such as Candace Owens, which is why you have all these race hustlers calling her a Negro bed wench, when I would say most of them are more Negro bed wenches than anything that Candace has ever done. You know, Tyree Nasheed with his foolishness, that dude is a Negro bed wench to the wazoo, and he don't believe half the crap he's saying. He's just doing it to make money. So who's more Negro bed wenches? You're telling black people lies for money. So he's a plant for the white man, not Candace Owens. Because again, if Candace Owens was that plant, she would still be at the Daily Wire, because she would have backed down like others have when the anti-Semitic narrative is thrown around. Anyway, like I said, y'all, this is my 2 cents on this. Candace Owens is gonna be fine. You know, she was a big name before she was with the Daily Wire, and she'll be a bigger name after. Trust me that. But she did not get a Negro wake-up call. This is more of a Jewish thing, being quote-unquote labeled as anti-Jewish than being black. But anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.